Hey friends, Sean from Draft Therapy here, and on today's review for you, I've got a doubleheader from Stormcloud Brewing Company. Rainmaker is a 5.2% Belgian-style Pale Ale, and Wild Away is a 6.7% Belgian-style IPA, both from Stormcloud Brewing Company in Frankfort, Michigan. I've only gotten a chance to try Stormcloud's beer at the Michigan Brewers Guild Festival, so when I saw that they were putting out their first commercial releases, I got in touch with them and asked if they'd be willing to send over some samples for me, and here they are. Just to get it out of the way, this beer was provided at no cost by Stormcloud in exchange for a fair and honest review. If you're not familiar with Stormcloud, they're a Belgian-inspired brewery in Frankfort, which is on the northwest side of the Lower Peninsula, also called Northern Michigan, right on Lake Michigan, about an hour east of Traverse City and about an hour and a half north of Ludington. And if you visit in the winter, you can even take part in a curling match on their outdoor curling sheet, which I thought was pretty cool. I've seen pictures of it. It looks really cool. So let's take a look at the cans here, and we'll look at the beer afterwards. So first off is Rainmaker here. It's got this dark navy blue and red motif on it. On the side here, both beers say the same thing. Belgian-inspired, Michigan-made. It says, here in beautiful northern Michigan, Mother Nature delivers some of her most magnificent creations, a sight to behold as storms build across the Great Lake. People gather in anticipation as she creates these natural wonders, a reminder that every sun-soaked day is a gift to be celebrated. We're proud to call the harbor town of Frankfort our home. So that's on both cans. On Rainmaker in particular, on the back, it says Rainmaker Ale, the beer that started it all. Our flagship pale ale was handcrafted over years of homebrew basement experiments. Rainmaker is a well-balanced, medium-bodied, easy-drinking ale. Take the day off, there's a 100% chance of rain. And it says Belgian-style medium-hop pale ale. That's Rainmaker. Wild Away here says, more refined in flavor than Wild at Heart, a Belgian-style India Pale Ale with hints of tropical hops over a bedrock of classic IPA bitterness. A beer for when the grass is long and the mower's broke. And then it says underneath that, Belgian-style medium bitterness IPA. So thankfully, I've got 2 glasses just for the occasion. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to open Rainmaker first, try it, give you my thoughts. Then I'm going to open Wild Away, try it, give you my thoughts. And then I'm going to do a little comparison because it's a pale ale and an IPA. So they're going to be somewhat similar, but I'm really kind of interested which one I like more, considering that I've been slowly catching back up to grabbing onto the handle of the IPA train. But we're going to open Rainmaker first. This is the pale ale, again, 5.2% alcohol by volume. Nice satisfying crack as always. Give it a little smell out of the can here. I'm not getting a whole lot of scent here out of the can. I am picking up on a slight hoppiness, but nothing I can really describe in any more detail than that. Let's pour this out. And I got a decent head out of it that's somewhat growing here, about a finger's worth of head, but it's dissipating relatively quickly. A nice light color. Let's see if there's a brewed on date here. I believe on the box they sent me, this said best drank by September 2018. I'm not a big fan of drink by dates. I'd prefer to have the canned on date or the brewed on date or something like that. Canned on date would be package date maybe, but can't complain too much. They give you a date that you should be consuming it by, right? So let's give it a better smell. So I'm picking up a little bit more on the hoppiness, a little bit more of a bitter scent coming out, but it is still kind of, you can tell it's Belgian inspired. It does have a bit of a kind of a clovey kind of scent to it a little bit. So let's give it a taste. Cheers. And this is a nice, again, let me just, before I drink this, I almost got ahead of myself. This is a little, it's not super clear. It's a little bit hazy, a little bit of carbonation's coming up through here, but it's a nice kind of golden amberish, more on the golden end of it color. And I'll give it a taste now. Now, cheers, right? So yeah, it's nice and smooth. It's a little light. Mouth feels a little bit on the light end. This is a 5.2%. But it doesn't really taste like there's 5.2%. It drinks actually really smooth. Definitely Belgian inspired. I know they say that, but this has a lot of Belgian kind of undertones to it. And it's nice and smooth, crisp. A lot less bitterness than I was expecting. There is a tiny bit of like a earthy kind of bitterness. Maybe a piney bitterness, hoppiness to it. But then it kind of subsides in this really kind of a little bit of a sweet, smooth finish. It doesn't have an IPA kind of aftertaste. It's just really smooth. It's got a nice kind of sweet finish, actually. Which I would expect it to have more of a bitter finish, being a pale. I guess it wouldn't have an IPA aftertaste because this is the pale, but I would expect it to be a little bit more bitter. But this is really nice. If you know somebody or are somebody that's not really big into hoppy pale ales, because pale ales aren't really that far removed from IPAs, this would be a real nice one to try because you're getting a little bit of the bitterness, but it smooths out into that nice kind of Belgian-inspired sweetness. So now we're going to move on to Wild Away. This is the IPA, the Belgian-inspired IPA. Let's give it a smell out of the can here. Oh, okay, this one, wow, stark contrast. It has a little bit of a kind of a tropical hoppiness, but you can get a tiny, eensy-weensy bit of dankness to it, but you can tell this is the IPA, whereas this one's the pale, and it's a little bit lighter. Of course, it's lower ABV, so let's pour this one out. And this one's pouring a lot more yellow, a lot more golden, whereas Rainmaker is kind of a golden amber. This one's more of a golden. And holding it up to the light here, this is a lot clearer, a lot more gold. Hopefully I can get a close-up of that so you can see there's a lot of carbonation coming up through this really light head. Really compact bubbles, a little bit of some bigger ones around the outside and a few here and there in the middle, but much more carbonated than the pale. And let's give it a better scent here. Yeah, this one is definitely more aromatic. It's got more of that kind of tropical scent to it, more tropical hoppiness. Like I said, a wee bit of dankness, but not a whole lot. So let's give it a taste. Cheers. Wow. It's got, oh man. Huh. It's very multifaceted. So at first, what I thought I was getting was going to be that real kind of tropical hoppiness and a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of a piney bitterness. But what happens is you get the hoppiness, the bitterness comes right up front, and then that subsides, and you get this kind of floral, aromatic kind of aftertaste, where you get more of the tropical taste out of it. Yeah, and then so you get that kind of hoppiness, and then you kind of get like a citrus, tropical kind of taste, a little bit of a sweetness, and then that kind of smooths out. It kind of comes back up with the bitterness, but it's this grapefruit bitterness, this kind of grapefruit, rindy, zesty kind of bitterness to it. But it also has a touch of kind of a cedary maltiness to it as well. And as you guys all know, I am a total pushover for any kind of malty IPA. I think that if you do it right, it can be really great. And I think a lot of places kind of overlook it, or there's too much hoppiness in there that overpowers the maltiness, but this one's really good. It's like that maltiness is just hiding in the background for you to pick up, and it comes back up with that kind of grapefruity, rindy, zesty taste, and then that maltiness kind of creeps in really subtly, really smoothly. But I really like this one quite a bit. So I said I was going to do a comparison. It's really hard to do a comparison because you're doing a pale and you're doing an IPA, and sometimes pales and IPAs, they can be a little bit interchangeable. Usually IPAs are a little bit less on the bitter and the hoppy end, and IPAs kind of amp that up a little bit. They're two totally separate beers, even though they're very similar styles. So this one's a little bit more on the smoother end, a little bit more for somebody that's not into really hoppy beer and you want to kind of just get them into the beer. I would say that Rainmaker is for that person that wants a little bit more of that smoothness to it. And I would say that Wild Away here is more an IPA drinkers, obviously, but it has those kind of tropical and floral aromatics, and then you pick up on that nice, really subtle maltiness that creeps in at the end. So if you know somebody that's like me and that is a fan of malty IPAs, this is one to definitely try because it creeps in there. And if you know somebody that's maybe not so into the bitter pales or bitter IPAs, this would be one for them to try. I'm going to give it one last taste. Yeah, definitely more of a Belgian-inspired pale. So don't let the pale ale label on this one fool you or scare you off. If if you're somebody that likes pale ales, but you might not like the ones that are really bitter, this one would be for you. It'd be a nice gateway into getting into Belgian beer. And I think Wild Away here is one that's really nice because, again, it has that really nice maltiness to it. And that's something that I always appreciate. So I think they're two different beers for two different types of beer drinkers, or if they're stuck in those styles. I mean, for me, I like both of them. I could drink, these are interchangeable for me. I think I would probably go more with Wild Away on a hot day, like they said, when the mower's broke, you just let the grass grow instead of going out and, busting your tail trying to fix it. Just send it off to somebody, let them fix it, have a beer instead and relax because you've earned it. It's the weekend. Whereas Rainmaker is more of a pale for somebody who's not really into pales, but much more Belgian-inspired, medium hoppiness, maybe even low hoppiness. Wild Away is more for the IPA drinker. All right, friends, that has been two beers from Stormcloud Brewing Company, Rainmaker and Wild Away. If you're interested in trying out some of Stormcloud's offerings but aren't near Frankfurt, they're available mostly in the northern half of the Lower Peninsula, or they call it Northern Michigan. If you're an East Sider, they're available as far as Portland, which is just a little bit more west than Lansing. I'll leave a link to their distribution map below this video. If you've had a chance to try Stormcloud or other Belgian style or Belgian inspired beers, let me know all about it in the comments down below this video. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button if you like this video, and don't forget to share and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of this great Michigan beer content. You can also find links to my social media, some of my merch, like this shirt I'm wearing, and my blog at drafttherapy.com. So until next time, I'm Sean from Draft Therapy. Thanks for stopping by, and remember, drink craft beer, support your local breweries wherever they may be, and most importantly, don't forget to treat yourself to a little draft therapy. Thanks for watching. Cheers.